Toastmasters. This is Craig from Balboa Park Toastmasters. This would be a useful video to help those who are either club officers or SAA, somebody who's managing the actual meeting online versus somebody in person. Having said that, if somebody had a laptop in an in-person meeting, they could use the back end, which you can see here. This is the Slido portal. When you log in for the first time, this is what the home page will look like. And ideally, what you want to have done is pre-programmed a couple of these sliders. We click on here, the feedback one. We know that Angela is the speaker one in this case, and we don't know yet who speaker two is. So it's not a problem. That can be done and added and updated on the day, but we know at least that speaker one is Angela. We go back there. We also want to have added on the voting as well for best speaker, best table topics, and speech evaluators. You can see, again, with the voting, we only knew that Angela is speaking on the day, but once we know, let's say it's Harry or whoever, we can add that. And you'll notice this is an auto save. So you don't actually have to save anything. Once you type it out, it's all done. Click on the table topics. Now I've pre-programmed, I do this every single week. In this case, I'll put here speaker one through speaker four. You can add as you go along. So if you suddenly have room or time for 5 or 6, you can just simply add option 5 here, in this case, speaker 5. And you can add it as you go along. And then, of course, you won't know who your table topic speaker is. So as the admin, let's say we've got Ellie, who's speaker 1 as table topic presenter. Then let's imagine it's Harry again. Harry gets around, doesn't he, this dude? Let's go with Simon. And then we'll go with Joanne, whatever. Maybe we'll go with Amina. And remember, it's auto-saved. So you don't actually have to worry about doing anything after you've typed in. But let's go back to the first one to show you how to run the polls. So imagine Angela has just spoken, bless her. We know that she's done there. We've already added it in there, but let's say it did change. But for the moment, let's go with Angela. Once she's completed her speech, we really want to launch this. And this is simple. You can see here on the left-hand side that there is sort of a play button, triangle, whatever you want to call it, old sort of video recording play button there. And then once you launch the poll, you can see here on my phone, gone from a blank screen into providing some feedback for, in this case, Angela. So the person in the room or online will simply type, let's put great job, Angela. And then as you can see, once I finished that and I submitted it, there's a little submit button on my form here. Once you press that, on your admin screen, you'll see here that the feedback has come from anonymous. Unfortunately, this happens. There's no way of recording the name of the person, but I guess you could encourage the voters to say, hey, it's John, it's Jane, it's whoever, and I'd like to give you feedback. So you could do it that way. And you'll notice on the top left here, or in the middle of the screen, in fact, that you can see that one vote is cast. And if other people are typing away, that means I'd keep the poll running. So I wouldn't close it just yet. And don't forget, when the second speaker is being introduced, you can still keep this open. But I would be surprised if people are typing through the second speech. And once you feel comfortable, click on the square now button. That will stop the poll. And you can see here on my phone, that's also gone as well, which is fine. That's good. And you've captured all those votes and we'll do it for you. Again, it's the same thing. Let's imagine Harry is our second speaker. And once that's ready, it doesn't matter about the timing, whether they qualified, you're providing the feedback for your guests, both online as well as in person. So you're going to run that and you can see waiting for votes here. And then when you stop it, once you're happy, I'm good. So that's voting. It's really easy. And the person doing admin will probably want to cut and paste that and put it into an email to the speaker so they can actually read that back later on. Okay, easy. Okay, this is a little bit more delicate, needs a bit of tweaking. So we've got favorite speaker here. That's easy. You've already got the 2 names of your speakers. Once they're qualified, and that's how Balboa Park works, then you launch the poll. Now, this is a slightly different QR code. Why? Because it only allows for each of these polls, these sets of polls, up to 3 separate votes. So that's why we've had to have 2, and therefore 2 different QR codes. If I click on share, on the top right, you can see there's a link for people accessing it on the website. If they want it through a website, and they can do it through a phone as well. Or if they have a camera on their phone, which most people do, then they use the QR code. And you can copy and paste that and put it into the Zoom messaging. Once they've got that in there, that will cover all of the various different voting you've got there. All pretty straightforward. So once that's done, it takes you to a same sort of page basically, but it's one for voting. You leave that there for the moment. We stop that, and then we're ready to run the poll. Let me just hold my screen up. You'll notice that when I click the play button, that's come up now. You can see the options. If I click on Harry to vote, oh, actually, let's click on Angela. Might as well click on Angela. The person who's using it has to hit submit button. And you can see straight on the page there that one vote has been cast because I was the one voting. Angela will get more votes, I'm sure. But that's another story. So once that's done, you can see, again, very similar to the feedback, how many people are actually in the poll and how many are still typing away. Again, you can keep that running until a minute or two into the next portion of the meeting, and then hits the square button once you've stopped that. And there you can get the votes. Now, for those who are administering this Slido, you'll want to submit the answer as to who won the votes to the Toastmaster. And you can do that via WhatsApp, text, or email. Same is exactly for tables. So this is the tricky bit. You're not going to know the names of each of the table topic speakers. Why? They haven't been chosen. But I did add this in there just to show a previous demo. So if we take that off. And as the table topic speakers are chosen, you want to add in, let's say, Amina. And the next person is Harry. We don't have Harry, but never mind. Could have one day. We've definitely got Craig, so we'll put Craig there. And you go on. You just add all those in until you've got your speakers. And the other thing you can do, as I said before, you can add in various names or take them away. So let's say we end up with only 3. So you can remove speaker 4 and speaker 5 in this case. And that leaves you with 3. And when you're happy with that, guess what? You're going to run the poll. We're selecting the triangular play button. And then you'll notice that, yeah, it's changed. You've got the selection there to use. And you, in this case, let's go with Harry again. He seems to be very popular. And submit. And with a bit of luck, there we go. Harry has already got 1 vote from yours truly. Although they won't know where the votes come from. And we don't normally share where the votes are. So as administrator, you won't see that. And then once that's all through, stop that. Submit the response and update that to the Toastmaster, and then the same thing happens with the evaluator. In this case, we don't have anybody yet, but on the day we will, and you can add that in. It's exactly the same process. How easy is that, guys, to do that? If you have any questions about how to use the Slido app, you can speak to me. You can contact me through WhatsApp, or you can email me. And for those who have no idea who I am, where to get hold of me, come to Balboa Park Toastmasters and ask for Craig. We have a great website, and more importantly, we have the best Toastmasters meetings.